Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Pastor Cullen, joining you again for another of our daily devotionals together where we seek to invigorate your faith so that we can all better live, love, and act like Jesus. And this week, we're practicing spiritual journaling. We're reflecting on what God is doing, we're meditating on Scripture, and we're writing those things down so that we can look back and see the pattern of the movement of God in our lives. And while we do this, we're going to be in Psalm chapter 30. And I want you to read this verse with me. Psalm chapter 30, verse 3 says, "O Lord, you brought up my soul from Sheol, restored me to life from among those gone down to the pit." Restored me to life. So often I think we forget where we've come from. Scripture says that we were dead in our sin. We had no life. We had no fruit. And God restored us to life. And one of the problems that we have is we don't reflect on this enough. We don't celebrate this enough, except on Easter. Easter is typically when we celebrate the restoration of life that we have in Jesus because of the resurrection. But this is something that needs to be celebrated and reflected on daily, weekly, all the time, because it is our existence. We have been restored to life in Jesus. And yet, we ignore that. Like, we don't talk about that. I don't understand it. It blows my mind. Today, we're going to reflect on the life we have in Jesus. We're going to look at where we've been. We're going to remember the pain, the suffering, the darkness. And we're going to look at the life that we have in Jesus. We're going to look at redemption, reconciliation. We're going to think about love and life and peace and grace and mercy. And as you're doing this reflection, write down what you're feeling. Write down what is happening in your heart, because emotions are absolutely a way that God communicates with us. Your emotions tell you something about what's going on. So as you reflect on the past and the restoration that you have, we're going to thank Him for life. We're going to thank Him for reconciliation and restoration. But we're also going to listen to our emotions. We're going to write down what we feel, so that as we're doing this, we can have this conversational prayer with God while we're journaling. And as we're looking to life, as you've reflected on the past and the restoration of life you have now, we're going to dream and we're going to look forward to the future, what the future life of Jesus holds. And write it down. Write down 2 or 3 dreams, 2 or 3 goals that you have for what restoration of life, what life in Jesus looks like for you sometime in the future. Maybe that's a year from now, maybe that's a week from now, maybe it's 5 years from now. But we're going to look to, dream, and reflect on what life in Jesus looks like in the days coming. And as you do that, I know it will be an enriching practice for you. I do this frequently, and it's always beneficial. And so I hope you do it. I hope you're enjoying the first couple of days of journaling, and I hope you join me again tomorrow.